Welcome to this edition of ACAP Today for the week of November 30th, 2020. I'm Jason Parent with the Aroostook County Action Program. On this week's program, we continue our Maine Leaders Conversation series, this time around with State Senator and Senate President Troy Jackson from Allagash. Troy happens to serve on the ACAP Board of Directors and is very much dedicated to the work that we do here at ACAP, and we look forward to that conversation with him in this week's Maine Leaders Conversation series. But before we get to that, we're going to get to the news and information that you can use again for this week of November 30th, 2020. And we begin this week by sharing with you that our Aroostook County Community Assessment that was conducted over the summer and fall months is now available for download. The community assessment was finalized and shared with our board of directors last week. The report is an update from the 2017 report and highlights the progress we have made as a community. The report reinforced the agency's efforts around the whole family and comprehensive service delivery approach, partnerships and collaboration, dialogue surrounding poverty, addressing the social determinants of health, and the increased need for the behavioral health services here in Aroostook County. We encourage all community stakeholders to review the full report, which can be found on the ACAP website at acap-me.org. Again, the community assessment released after months of work, and congratulations to the entire team and all people in Aroostook County who responded to the survey. Over 1,100 survey respondents took part. In addition to the community assessment, 2 additional publications have been released by ACAP and are both available on ACAP's website electronically. Our 2020 Impact Report and our 2021 Directory of Services are now available. Electronic copies of both documents can be found at acap-me.org, as I mentioned. Paper copies are also available, and those will be distributed in the upcoming weeks. If you would like to receive these materials in print, please contact Sherry Locke at 554-4130, and she'd be happy to share and send those publications along to you. We also want to remind folks that our offices are open. They're open by appointment. They're open by walk-ins as well. We do have the phone number above our doors in Holton at the Military Street facility, as well as in Presque Isle here. The picture that you're seeing has that number. We encourage folks, if they have a cell phone on them, to dial that number. If you're just here to drop off paperwork, we might give you alternative instructions to get that paperwork to us, either through a window or in some other way. If you do come into the building, you will be screened. COVID screening includes taking the temperature and asking questions, but please do know that we are open and available for services as needed. Also by phone, which we're conducting many of our services by phone or virtually in other formats. So please do connect with us, and we encourage you to call the number on both our Holton Military Street and Presque Isle 771 Main Street near Walmart facility. The COVID-19 rental relief program is happening, and we are asking folks to please bear with us and be patient with us. We do have the largest surge of COVID rental applications that have come in the last few weeks since December has been opened. We have about 250 applications that are currently in the queue waiting for initial processing, and some hundreds more that are being processed as we speak. So we ask that folks please be patient with us as we go through this process. We will be in contact with you if you have successfully submitted your application using the Maine Housing website or ACAP's website. We will be in touch with you as soon as we get up to your application in the queue to verify that you are eligible for the program, and then do the necessary follow-up work with your landlord. Payments do go on to the landlord once everything is approved. And we are again working diligently to get through the process, but we're pleased to share that December rental assistance has been extended, or rental assistance has been extended for the month of December by Maine Housing, our partners working on this rental assistance program. The Home Energy Assistance Program is also very busy right now. We are working, the first payments of the year went out to individuals who had previously applied for and had been certified in the first round of appointments since middle of August. It does take approximately 30 days for those moving forward before we receive all of your application documents and certify an application. If we are missing information and don't receive, we will call you, the applicant, and let you know what we are missing and work with you to get that information. All of this is being done over the phone and by mail unless otherwise directed by the customer at this point. And so we encourage patience in this process as well. But if you do have any questions, give our HEAP team a call, 764-3721. Open enrollment for healthcare navigation does run for a couple more weeks. We encourage you all, if you are in need of assistance in navigating the health insurance marketplace, to please give us a call. Stan Targonski, our marketplace navigator, is scheduling appointments right up until the 13th of the month, or actually I should say right through the 15th, which is the deadline due December 15th. So please do contact Stan at 764-3721, or you can email him at stargonski@acap-me.org. If you are in need of a location to do your appointment, he will point you to the Hope and Prosperity Wellness Center or Resource Center over at the FedEx building on the airport area of here in Presque Isle in the Skyway Industrial Park. That is where we are connecting folks electronically with Stan. Otherwise, you can do it right from the comfort of your home, either over the phone, or Stan will connect you with a Zoom link over the computer, and we are happy to help you remotely to help you and our team stay safe at this time. If you are in need of any assistance at all, uncertain what that assistance might be or what you might qualify for, ACAP does have a team of navigators. Most of them right now are working on rental assistance, but they are available to take your call. Call 764-3721 and ask to be connected with a navigator. Again, this is a great resource if you're not sure, you know you're in need of assistance, but are not sure what's available out there or what you might qualify for. Our ACAP navigators are a great resource for that for you. We also are offering area organizations and businesses the opportunity to connect with us for tobacco policy work. Chastity Holland, who works here at ACAP under a tobacco grant through Maine Health, is working to help businesses and organizations in the area. She and others before her have worked with several businesses in the area to develop tobacco policies within their business. As a result of that work, for those of you who successfully complete new tobacco policies, signs such as this one here on the smoke-free building sign will be provided to those organizations at no charge. This work is also provided at no charge to local organizations, and Chastity is a great resource. Contact her at cholland@acap-me.org if you would like to begin working on a tobacco policy for your business or organization. This is also the time of year as we head into a new year. Believe it or not, we're just a month away from a brand new year. I think many of us are excited to turn the page on 2020 and on to 2021, but many people may consider quitting smoking at this time of year for your own health and for the health and safety of the loved ones around you. We know it's not easy, and we have assistance here at ACAP to help with that. Elaine Sipe will help individuals by providing them with quit kits. There are virtual meetings that are held. She'll help you plan a quit date if you want that date to be January 1st. I believe that'll be a very popular date. You can certainly connect with her. Now is the time that you want to connect with her on that. She can even provide free nicotine replacement therapies as you consider your quitting of your tobacco product use. Call her at 554-4151 or email her at esipe@acap-me.org and get started 2021 right in a healthy way by breaking the habit of using tobacco products. Our workforce collaborative team that is working across the state with Maine's other workforce development providers, including Workforce Solutions and EMDC, our great partners in the region, are offering free workshops. We've been talking about these for a number of weeks now. They range from interviewing tips and tricks to making career choices, resume and cover letter development, job preparation and retention, and a number of other topics. Please do reach out to us if you are interested in taking these courses. They're offered online, and they're taught some by ACAP folks and some by some of our other partners in this collaborative agreement. So we encourage you to reach out, especially if you're looking to enter or increase your participation in the local workforce. Our housing team continues to look for qualified contractors. Invitations to bid are currently out there for our weatherization program from interested contractors who are interested in doing that work in people's homes. In addition to that, we have invitations to bid on providing weatherization materials for those who sell home building products. So we encourage you to contact Randy if you are interested in either. And it would be great to have some new contractors on board, especially to help increase the number of homes we're able to weatherize in the region. We also want to remind folks that we are offering free face cloths. They are available at our Presque Isle location near Walmart, at our Holton facility near on Military Street, and in our Fort Kent facility out in the Industrial Park on Alfalfa Avenue. This is in response to the executive order relating to wearing masks across the state. We certainly don't want any people to not be able to be out because they do not have access to a mask. So we are offering these free of charge. Please consider visiting one of our offices or calling us today to make arrangements to get yours if you cannot otherwise access a mask. They are as pictured here, as modeled by Gloria Duncan, ACAP's executive assistant. They're white plain face cloth coverings that are available to you, again, at no charge. We also want to invite folks who are interested and who are looking for employment to consider a job with ACAP. Our website, acap-me.org, or Indeed, both have our current listings of job positions. You can see some of them here, but we certainly encourage you to visit our website often if you are looking for employment. It's a great place to work, and we're be happy to welcome new members to our ACAP team. And we want to thank these individuals for their milestone years of service. Altogether, these individuals, these smiling faces, have given 265 years of combined service to the Aroostook County Action Program, ranging from some who are celebrating their 5-year milestone to others like Dee and Randy, who are celebrating their 40th anniversary, or 40 years of service, 4 decades, just incredible, with the Aroostook County Action Program. We thank all of them for their continued dedication and service to the Aroostook County Action Program. Incredible individuals reaching incredible milestones of employment with our agency. Thank you all. We also want to extend our appreciation to Steve Richard, who is ACAP's longstanding board chair. At our annual meeting last week, Steve, after many, many years, 32 years, over 3 decades with the agency, and 26 incredible years as our board chair, stepped down last week, serving as our far longest serving board chair that the agency has ever had. Just to put it in perspective, ACAP will mark its 50th anniversary in 2022. And it's noteworthy that Steve has been the leader on our governance board for more than half of that time, for more than half of our organization's history. So our sincere thanks to you, Steve Richard, for all that you have given of yourself to the Aroostook County Action Program and the many generations of leaders that you have mentored, including me, in your role as both ACAP board chair and serving other organizations, including your organization, Central Aroostook Association, which, by the way, Steve is celebrating 45 years with this year in 2020. So congratulations and thank you, Steve Richard. We also want to thank our friends at Versant Power in this time of giving thanks and in this joyful season for their donation, a $10,000 charitable donation to ACAP for our work to support families, particularly through the COVID-19 pandemic. We will use this donation from Versant to help support families during the pandemic. And they will come at an obviously critical time as the needs escalate as the COVID-19 pandemic rages on in advance of a widespread vaccine distribution. So thank you, Versant, for your contribution to the Aroostook County Action Program. We also want to thank our sponsor of the month, United Way of Aroostook, as we head into December, for once again coming on board as our community cupboard sponsor. If you're interested in sponsoring the community cupboard, if you know of a business or organization that would like to sponsor it for $500 a month, we will stock it with groceries, or you can have your team help us stock it with groceries on a regular basis throughout the month. Contact Sherry Locke here at ACAP if you are interested in sponsoring the community cupboard. Just down the way from the community cupboard in the east front of our building here at ACAP is the community closet. This project, which was recently expanded and really got much bigger this fall, provides a 24/7 space for people to either donate clothing items or to pick up clothing items. We have a dedicated team of folks here at the agency who maintain the closet, will sort clothing, put it out there. It's available 24/7 because it is actually outside of our building. There's a little enclosure built in all the way, if you're looking at the front of our building, all the way over to the left on the east side of the building. We encourage anybody who needs clothing, including some of the coats on the coat rack out in front of the enclosed area, to stop by and take what you need. We also encourage community members who are looking to make donations of unused, outgrown, or unwanted clothing to please consider making a donation. Just drop off the items right there in the community closet. And this is Giving Tuesday. Tomorrow, December 1st, is Giving Tuesday, and we are encouraging global generosity here at ACAP. We have certainly been the beneficiaries of some very, very generous donors, especially through this pandemic time. And we are encouraging folks to make Giving Tuesday part of their habit of giving in the course of the year. Consider giving to the Aroostook County Action Program. We certainly will put the money to good use and put it to direct service to the individuals we serve. You can designate it, as a matter of fact, to serving individuals in a specific way, whether it's heating assistance or emergency assistance or helping with security deposits or food insecurity, any of the needs that you would like to designate it to. We're happy to take your funds and help designate it to where they will be needed and make the most difference. Please do visit our website, acap-me.org. The Get Involved Donate button will take you where you need to go to make your donation directly online. You can also give us a call and we will gladly accept checks through the mail or what have you. But thank you for considering giving to the Aroostook County Action Program on this Giving Tuesday and this time of giving, in this season of giving, caring, and compassion. And that's the information and news for this week from the Aroostook County Action Program. And as we noted at the top of this week's ACAP Today, we are continuing our Maine Leaders Conversation series, and we're very pleased and happy to have joining us this week on the Maine Leaders Conversation series, Senator and State Senate President and Aroostook County, St. John Valley, Allagash very own, and ACAP board member, I have to add, because we're very proud of that, Senator Troy Jackson. And Troy, I've known you for a long time, so it's great to see you again. I feel like we grew up together in a way. We weren't youth together, but when you went to college, I was there with you. The first question we're asking all of our leaders, Troy, is, gosh, 2020, what a heck of a year it's been. What are your reflections on the year that almost was?
Yeah, well, thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. And I think you definitely should let people know, too, that you were my instructor at UMFK. And
I didn't want to date me on that one.
I was probably younger than you at that time, but I mean, excuse me, older than you, still older than you, but very good one at that. So I appreciate that. Yeah, 2020 definitely been a hard run. I think still today we're trying to figure out so much of this. We've been hoping for a vaccine all along, and it looks like we may be on the cusp of that. But I think coming together now for the next legislature, we really got to work to try and give more relief to businesses and workers across the state, because they really have shouldered the burden here for the last 7-8 months, in some really, really tough times. And we've found out that, we have a lot of problems with our unemployment system that was really, really challenging over the years. Whittling down the staff there have certainly made it, when we had this explosion of people that got unemployed through no fault of their own, we didn't have the resources to even answer the phones. But more than anything, the people that's been out there, EMTs, nurses, fire, police, small business owners, workers at those small business owners that were, deemed essential, and the ones that weren't. I think the Maine legislature, the federal government has to, really come together to try and provide relief, in addition to respect for how hard, some of the people had to work through this, and some of the, dangers that, they took on. We certainly have seen a number of healthcare officials get sick because of the pandemic, because they were treating people, and we got a lot of work to do, and certainly a lot of respect for some of the positions that people were put in during this time. And it's hard to really explain, the situation, but the fact that, there is a lot of people that were harmed during this, and, there really was no way that government could help. They just were harmed in a way that was severely unfortunate, and I don't know what we could have done. I'm not going to say more, but what we could have done to alleviate that harm. But I mean, understanding that there really was pain for a lot of people out there, I think is important for all of us to acknowledge, and like I said, just that respect that people worked hard and were put in positions that really just weren't fair.
You have accomplished a tremendous amount in your entire legislative career, and as Senate President, certainly a great deal statewide and a lot for your district. I think about, a lot of the things that you've been able to accomplish on government reform, but, things really that hit home specifically to communities like the processing facility in Washburn and things like that. You've been involved in a lot of that effort. This is going to be a legislative session like no other. I mean, it's a totally different than when you entered your Senate presidency, obviously. What are your priorities going to be heading into this legislative session with all that's coming at you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as, things that happened that were good for, Maine or the area that I was involved in. I mean, people often ask me what I'm proud about, and it's, I mean, there's a lot of things, but I always remember the losses more than I do the victories. And the thing for me is, I don't think any of us, regardless of who you are in the legislature, I mean, you shouldn't feel satisfied, because there's always so much more to do. And I don't, I just know, we just got to keep plodding. But I think, as far as this session, and you're absolutely right, it is different than just a year ago, where we were in a much better place financially as a state. But I think what I'm very focused on is continuing to try and affect healthcare as much as I can as a state legislator, understanding that, so much of this is really affected more on the federal level, but whatever we can do as a state to try and help in that regard. I mean, I am proud of the fact that, the Bureau of Insurance, believes that health insurance rates will, drop, considerably this term because of the reforms that we made. Not saying that they're anywhere cheap enough and that they won't climb back. We got to do more. But I think in addition to that, making sure that property tax relief is worked on constantly. I mean, we did make some strides. But again, that's too high for too many people, and we got to keep working on that. So, whatever budget issues that we come up with in this session cannot affect property taxpayers. If anything, we have to do more. We can't go backwards. And I think that's the point, is that, we need to come up with a budget that is fair to the people of the state of Maine. It's fair to small business owners, and it works for people in a way that, like I said, it's just fair and equitable. I also think that even though we are in a tough financial position, I think we do need to do more, like we did with the processing facility. I'm very hopeful that we can still attract, businesses to Maine. I by far would hope that we had never, ever run into this COVID issue. But one of the things that has happened because of that is we've seen people come to Maine. We've seen some people move their business to Maine. And I do think that there's an opportunity to try and entice people with tax incentives or whatever it might be to create some opportunities, not just in Maine, but in Aroostook County. So I'm very hopeful that we can continue to work on things like that. Have some thoughts on that we're trying to get together here. But it's still going to be, trying to attract quality jobs, quality business to places like Aroostook County and rural Maine.
What are you going to sort of prioritize? It appears that there's going to be, obviously, the revenues are not where they were. How do you make those difficult decisions? You've experienced in your time in the legislature both more challenging times, and if Maine ever has them, some more robust times. In the last couple of years, we never quite get the full effect of a growth spurt, I guess, in Maine, if you will. But how do you make those tough decisions? How do you weigh those?
Yeah, well, I mean, it definitely is hard. I mean, people may not think this, but I mean, I always look at it from, and I tell this to other legislators, I mean, I always look at it from my district's perspective, and I know that being at the top of Maine, oftentimes we are challenged, and you are right. There's a saying out there that, we don't really see the good times or the bad times. We're kind of on a flat keel of really, no real highs and no real severe lows. But that's, unfortunate too. I mean, even, obviously we're different even from Southern Maine in that regard. So, I mean, for me, it's about making sure that, small business owners, everyday people, don't feel an undue burden by any decisions we make here. And clearly, there's times that may happen. But, trying to keep them in mind all the time that, the middle in this state and in this country is getting squeezed all the time, harder and harder. And I just think that, they need to have an advocate. So that's really where it starts. But, making sure that, we don't take away or make sure that people still have adequate health care. I don't think in bad times in a pandemic, people should have less health care. They should have more. I mean, that's why ACAP, honestly, I'm so honored to be on the board because of all the work that they do to try and give people that, are struggling, are having a hard time, help. And we've got to do more of that. But, making those decisions with an idea that, everyday people don't often have the lobbyists, don't often have, people in their corner, and institutions like this is important to me. And so that's why I start there. And I know we can do a lot to trim things in Maine state government. I don't think there's a lot of fat or a lot of bloated, but we can definitely trim things. We can do some things in that regard. And then looking at some other things, we do have a big rainy day fund. Hopefully the federal, I mean, when you look at where we are all across this country, I mean, the federal government has, at least a part in solving this crisis for all state government. So we're going to need that partner too. But while I don't look forward to it, I know it's doable. And, we got a lot of great people here. Just meeting with former President Rick Bennett here in my chamber. I'm actually very happy to have him. Actually in the Senate, we actually have 3 Senate presidents now with him, Mark Lawrence and myself. So, I'm going to lean on all those people to, make good decisions. And, Rick Bennett actually comes from a part of Maine that's rural too. So.
And that's working across the aisle because Rick is a Republican, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, if you don't, I mean, actually, thank you for saying that, because if you don't start there, you shouldn't be in this building. And I really do feel that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, both from you in a perspective of your bipartisan approach on things, but also you were talking about your work with our board. I think the other component that's consistent with the work that we do and really the work that you've dedicated your life and your legislative career to is that we do help vulnerable individuals, but we're also working each and every day to help individuals succeed. So we're helping them become successful and hopefully become financially stable. And I know that you've championed a number of pieces of legislation that have helped individuals become self-sufficient.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really do. I mean, as far as the people that I know in Aroostook County, I think by far the great many of them, that's what they want. I mean, they don't want to ask for help, but I see it all the time, but sometimes they need it, and sometimes they need it to, like you said, become self-sufficient. And, You know, I think at some point, if we all look back, we've all been there, you know, to some extent, you know, we've needed somebody else to help us. I know I have, and that's okay. But getting, you know, that help and then moving on and trying to be successful, I think is important for all of us.
You also mentioned in your comments about the hopeful federal, second federal stimulus package. I know this morning my colleagues and I from CAP agencies around the state were on visits with virtual visits with Senator King and Congresswoman Shelley Pingree, and both said, we need a stimulus package now. I can't wait till January 21st. Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I haven't got a chance to talk to either one of them that you mentioned, but I did talk to Congressman Golden about it, and he's been pretty steadfast in the fact that, you know, let's not get caught up in the amounts and too big, too small, and let's just get caught up in the fact that we need to do something and get something done in the lame duck. And if it's enough, great. If it isn't enough, then they can talk about that in the upcoming Congress. But I agree. You know, just working together to come up with something. You know, I think a lot of people probably don't quite understand, and I wouldn't have if I wouldn't be in this building. You know, the stimulus that we did get which was, you know, extremely helpful. You know, one of the problems was that, you know, we couldn't give any relief to cities and towns for, you know, their loss in revenues, you know, be it sales tax or whatever. And so you're going to have obviously communities that are really going to be struggling to put their budgets together. We here in Maine, I mean, you know, we have a balanced budget constitution amendment, you know, so we can't give extra money that we don't have. You know, we have to stay within revenue. And so if we don't get that help from the federal government, it'll be really, really challenging to help these cities and towns that are, and they've seen firsthand the effects of obviously, you know, restaurants being closed and hotels and things like that. So we really do, you know, need that help from federal government to come together and pass something, you know, meaningful to whatever extent.
You and I both grew up in the St. John Valley on different ends. Me in Van Buren, you in Allagash. And I think we've both been blessed by that upbringing. I can't tell you how blessed I am every day to come in and work with 160 people across Aroostook County who work diligently to make life better. But I think of you and I think about the experience, and I don't know that many people put it in this context, but Maine doesn't have a lieutenant governor, and the Senate president is by nature of the job, then the heartbeat away from the governor. And I think about, gosh, you know, the young man from Allagash who grew up and has become the second highest ranking official, government official in our state. I know that that's not how you approach your job because you're very modest, but does that take your breath away to think about that sometimes, that here you are and here you've come?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, like I said, I mean, you were talking a little bit beforehand, you know, the last 2 days we've had new member orientation here, and it's the job of the presiding officers to, you know, welcome them. And I just said that, you know, in front of them was that, you know, I think I started in 2003. And, you know, it's been a long time. I never ever really thought that, you know, I'd run for legislation, never ever thought that I'd certainly be in this position. And it does. I mean, I still get that very awe-inspiring feeling every time I come in here. And you know, when I drive over and see the Capitol, I'm like just amazed that, you know, I'm going in there. But at the same time, it's a big weight, you know, because, you know, I really feel like whoever's in there, you have to deliver. I mean, you know, there's a reason why people vote for you, and that's so that you help them with the issues that they have. But, you know, as far as the Senate president position, I mean, yeah, I mean, and then you look back to the last Senate president from Aroostook, John Reed, became governor because he was in this office, you know, so those things I can't help but think about, you know, and it could be obviously, you know, Senator King being rumored to maybe move into administration. I mean, there's so many things at play there that people start asking you about. So, I mean, it really is freaky for me.
So I have heard that Governor Mills could appoint herself. She could appoint you as well, but if she appoints herself, does the succession plan kick into effect in that case? So would you become governor?
I think, yes, yeah, I think that's maybe the only way that's gonna.
Well, I was just going to ask,
I
I mean,
don't see myself getting appointed.
well, I know you don't want to do it the way that Governor Reed did, but would you ever
Yeah.
would you ever have an interest in being a governor from Aroostook County?
Well, look, much like, House Rep, Senate President, I mean, certainly is a big, but what excites me or interests me wholeheartedly about the governor's position is the fact that you can put good people in those positions, and obviously, you're involved, and you can be as involved as you want as the governor, but putting good people around you, I think, is the mark of a true leader. And that's really what would excite me, is putting good people that understand all of Maine into those positions, and obviously, do some things differently that I would hope would be good for the state, but that's like,
Yeah.
what.
Well, heck, I know you're focused on this job and being Senate President and doing the best that you can for the people of Maine and the people of Senate District 1 for the next 2 years. And so I want to just, in that light, the last question that we ask all of our guests on the Maine Leaders Conversation series is to tell us what you're resolving for 2021. And you can choose to go personal, you can choose to go political, but what do you see yourself resolving for the new year?
Well, I think, to be honest, probably both, professionally, and family or whatever. My resolve would be to probably be more patient. Yeah, I think I'm a lot better at it now than I probably used to be, to listen to people more. I mean, it's been a great thing to do this job for the people of the state of Maine, because I've become so more educated on issues that I know I wouldn't have if I hadn't been in this position, and honestly changed my opinion on stuff because I was presented with evidence of it. And so listening to people and being patient with people, I think, is a huge benefit for anyone. And I don't think I was like wicked headstrong, but it just, sometimes you have opinion and you think that's, all there really is. I think the other thing I think we all probably is, social media, trying to back away from that. It causes so much discontent. So I've tried very hard to limit what I post on line. I certainly like to give people what I believe is accurate information of what's going on in state government, but try not to put any spin on it. But again, my resolve is to work hard, be patient, and listen to people more. We all need to really do that.
Yeah, I always say that it's finding that balance between the passion that drives you that sometimes comes out as impatience, and not lose that, because the passion is what makes you effective, and I certainly share that with you. So I think we could all learn from that and better balance that.
Good point. I mean, well said.
Yeah. So before we leave folks today out there who are watching ACAP Today, we want to remind you, and I'm sure Senator Jackson joins us in this, that if you are in need of any assistance at this point, do reach out to us, contact us. You may not know what it is, the assistance that you need specifically, but we can help you with that. We have navigators that we've supported through the agency that are available to help you navigate certain programs, just listen to you, and to try to figure out how they can help you best. Please do reach out by phone, by email. You can see that. You can visit our website to see some of the programs that we offer, but do know that our navigators will help you. They'll help you navigate some state government programs. They'll help you navigate other social services as needed. So do reach out to us. Check out our past and coming interviews on this Maine Leaders Conversation series on our YouTube channel. You can also check us out on Facebook. We post regularly, and on Twitter as well, where we've just joined in the last month. And then lastly, we end with our snapshot of the week. Each week we are featuring, during this Maine Leaders Conversation, some ACAP leaders who are celebrating milestone anniversaries of service with us. This is Tammy Sear, who's celebrating 2 decades, 20 years with ACAP this year. She works as a teacher in our Caribou Early Care and Education Center. And she has, I made her favorite memory reel in this particular case. her teacher aide and Kim were working, and I came in and entered the classroom and was promptly told to remove my shoes, socks, and roll up my pants, because then I was asked to join the children in the classroom who were barefooted themselves to dance in shaving cream. And it was a really good time. And I cannot tell you, any time that I go to Tammy Sears' classroom is a great time. So we thank you, Tammy, for your 20 dedicated years of service to the Aroostook County Action Program. Just a wonderful person. And with that, we thank Senator Jackson for joining us on this edition of ACAP Today. Senator Jackson, I don't think I've ever seen you dance in shaving cream, but we'll invite you to Tammy's classroom, and I'm sure she will oblige.
That's good. Look forward to that.
The kids are a blast. We might even keep you for lunch.
Sounds good.
During better non-COVID times when we can have guests back. Thank you so much for joining us, Senator Jackson, and thank you all out there for being with us on this edition of ACAP Today. We'll be back next week with our continuing Maine Leaders Conversation series. Tune in then to see who we have on next week.